Hi, this is Multi-Topic Talk. Welcome to this new video about KAGE Battle. It's the second entry in this new series I am starting. So today we will be covering the third and the fourth Hokage. So in the background we will have a fight of Naruto Storm 4. So basically in this video what will happen, I will compare both Kage. I will tell who would win in my own opinion based on criteria and how strong they are. So we have four rules, if we can say it that way. We have the axe ability, the speed, the chakra, and the raw power. So to be fair, I will also be taking to account the alive Minato before he died, basically on the night of his death. So he is not at his full prime, but he is near his full prime. And we won't have Old Man Turtle Kage because we know he's weak here. So we will be counting the prime Hiruzen, basically when he was in his mid-30s, early 30s. So that will make an even match. So with that being said, the speed factor here, it's more likely how fast the character moves and how fast the character can dodge and react to his opponents. And then the raw power, it's basically how strong they are physically and basically their presence. For example, for Ashirama or Tobirama on the previous video, they had both high raw power because they basically were able to free themselves from the reanimation jutsu during the fourth Great Ninja War. So that requires a lot of raw power, and I will give you also another good example of raw power is how deadly and how destructive the jutsu of the caster are. For example, the Tailed Beast Bomb Naruto can throw are proof of raw power because they can destroy a lot of stuff. Or for example the Rasen Shuriken, which is a lot underrated because it's kinda OP. Then when we speak about axe, it's the overall techniques of the ninja and the abilities he has. For example, in the previous video we had the Ashirama Sage Mode being a hack because he could heal and he had a buff on his speed and his strength, so that's a hack. Another example of hack in the previous video I had would be Tobirama Flying Raging Thunder God or Tobirama Reanimation Ninjutsu. So hacks, it's basically what they can do as ninjutsu and how strong they can be and how strong they can make the Kage strong. So now when we speak about chakra, it's their overall reserves. Like how much they can mold, how much they can use during the fight. It's quite simple. So with everything being said, I will go over on both fighters, being the third Hokage and the fourth Hokage. And then I will tell a few scenarios on how I think the fight could go and who could win and how. Like a few win condition and stuff like that. So now, the third Hokage was known as the God of Shinobi. So that's telling a lot. And a lot of people, early part 1, like before he died, were saying younger Hiruzen was borderline Ashirama strength, and that tells a lot. He is being praised, and something to support it. As the old man, Hiruzen was strong enough to scare off like any other village. Like even if it was old, nobody except for Orochimaru, of course, nobody really attempt to attack the leaf. Like we got the old man and nobody is thinking, oh, let's go team up on the leaf because that's the strongest village. They knew Hiruzen was strong, and it's clear, it's crystal clear how strong is Hiruzen. And Hiruzen basically he has control over all 5 chakra nature. That gives him a huge panel of jutsu. And something else to count here is Sarutobi lineage. So because of that, he has a high affinity with fire release. So he probably had among the strongest fire release jutsu we can have. And also a good things to point out about Hiruzen, he trained 3 Sanin. And the Sanin at some point were considered almost like Kage level. They were considered like in their own tier. Like they could be Okage candidate. Like Jiraiya turned off like the offer to become Okage, and Orochimaru could have been Okage if he was not that sinister and that dark. So that tells a lot about the Sanin, and obviously we got Tsunade as the 5th Okage, so, and Hiruzen trained them. And another important thing to know about Hiruzen was trained by both the 1st and the 2nd Okage, so I'm pretty sure he knows a lot of acts and a lot of technique that were not shown. It's also being said he mastered over like 1,000 jutsu, I think, or 100 jutsu. I don't know the exact number. Leave a comment if you know it. So with that being said, we also know like he had extreme chakra control, so that would make him really threatening, because basically as the old man he was spamming like high level jutsu against Orochimaru, and he was not finding all in because he was sad and he was like, what did I do? And he was tired and was facing off both of his master as reanimated shinobi. And that fight told us a lot about Hiruzen's power, because basically he faced off 3 Kage level fighter. I know the 1st and the 2nd Okage were nerfed during that fight, however that does not remove away the fact that they were Kage level fighter, and that's telling a lot, because Hiruzen was the old man and he pulled off some crazy stuff there. It was also said that Hiruzen was able to use almost every single technique of the leaf, so that's really threatening. So now we just spoke about Hiruzen overall name, if we can say it that way. Now we will go over a few of his acts. I don't know all of his acts because I know data book, but I know a few stuff. So let's go over what I know. First of all, he can use a shadow clone jutsu on his shurikens. So that means even if he has not a lot of shuriken to throw, he can clone them, so he can throw a bunch of shurikens, and you're like, oh, but that's just shuriken. And I will be like, yeah, but his opponent will need to block or dodge those same shuriken to not get injured by those stuff, so that can give a open for Hiruzen to throw bigger jutsu. He can also mix up, if I remember correctly, he can mix up up to 4 or 5 Chakra nature in one attack, as shown during the war arc. And he was not on his prime during the war arc, and he could still pull off some crazy stuff. And that technique I'm speaking about is a multi-dimensional shuriken or something like that. It's a crazy jutsu. If it hits someone, I think it's removed from the dimension they are in, I think. It's like a Jintan particle style, but stronger, I guess, because there's more elements placed into it. And we also seen him as a Edo Tensei again, not at his prime, being able to mix up all 5 Chakra nature to attack a huge... I forgot at that time if it was a tree or a monster, I forgot, but that was a crazy combination of jutsu. So, with that being said, as mentioned earlier, since he's from the Sarutobi clans, he has great fire style jutsu. He also has a staff. Basically, it's his summoning King Enma. We seen it like a few seconds ago, and that staff is known as being as durable as diamond. And we did not see the full extent of what Enma can do, since Hiruzen was old and he did not really add much stamina to keep going. But we can assume Enma is a really strong summon. So now, with that being said, as a last act, we have the Soul Reaper Dead Seal, which is used during his fight against Orochimaru. The caster dies, however, the target of the jutsu also dies, except if you don't have the chakra. You can seal your target within the Soul Reaper or Dead Reaper, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, you seal basically the soul of the individual, or you seal, like Minato used it to seal the Ninetail. So I guess you seal like the chakra or the spirit of the individual you touch. So that's a really strong jutsu. With this, he was able to seal the first and the second Hokage inside the Reaper belly. So later on during the war arc, Orochimaru needed the mask of the Reaper to bring back the first, second Hokage. That's very strong, and also Hiruzen was able, even if he was weakening and really tired of his fight, he was able to seal both arms of Orochimaru. So that's telling a lot. Now I think we got over most of his acts. Now let's speak about his chakra. As a old man, he was able to change the ground, if we can say it that way. Like, him molding chakra was breaking apart the tile he was in, and he was old, he was limited, and he was able to do it. So we need to assume at that moment, if he were in his prime, he would probably have something near Tobirama or Ashirama molding ability to have a lot of chakra ready. And now, what I will say... Oh, actually, I will keep it for another video. Anyway, now Hiruzen has a lot of chakra, and he has great chakra control, because he was able to fight 3 Kage level fighter despite his old age. Orochimaru also said, if you were 10 years younger, you would have killed me. So that's telling, because at that point in the series, Hiruzen is around 62 or 72, I'm not quite sure. Someone can leave a comment to just clarify it. But that means if Hiruzen was in his 50s or 60s, Orochimaru would be scared to attack the village. That's telling a lot, because at that point, Orochimaru still had the first and second Hokage ready with the reanimation jutsu. So that's telling a lot about how strong was the Hiruzen. Now let's go to the speed factor. He has no really impressive feats. Maybe keeping up with Gaara when Naruto was down, if I remember correctly. Hiruzen was fast enough to keep up with Gaara to help out rescuing Naruto. But I'm not quite sure, because that place, I don't remember it 100%. So his speed is not impressive, it's just the average ninja. Average Kage, I guess. Now, with is raw power. Now the raw power is the last one we got with Hiruzen. So raw power speaking, we know as the old man he don't have that much raw power, mainly because he was not able to break out of Orochimaru reanimation jutsu, and it's telling a lot. As a old man, he don't have really a lot of raw power. Maybe in his younger day he would, but who knows, we don't know. So we knows, since we are taking in this battle the Prime Hiruzen in account, probably has a lot of raw power because of his chakra control. And also one last thing about Hiruzen, and it will also apply to Minato. Hiruzen has a lot of battle intelligence. He is really intelligent. He is very smart. So even as the old man, he is able to forget about his weaknesses and to be strong. And that's telling a lot. So if he's in his prime, he can basically outsmart a lot of character. So yeah, I think we said enough about Hiruzen. Now let's speak about Minato. Minato, on the other hand, died younger. So because of that, we never really seen Minato reaching his prime, if we can say it that way. He died at 24 years old, I think, or 26, something like that. Please someone clarify it, but I'm pretty sure it's 24. If I'm wrong, just write down on comments at which age Minato died. I think it was like 24 years old. So Minato, by his time on Earth, he did not achieve yet his prime, but it was crazy strong. And in my own opinion, Minato prime was when he was reanimated as Edo Tensei during the 4th Great Ninja War. However, we won't take that into consideration because that Minato is just too strong for even the reanimated Hiruzen. It's unfair, and if we place them against Prime Hiruzen, that's also unfair because Minato has one half of the Kurama, and that makes him busted on another tier. Anyway, with that being said, as mentioned earlier in the video, we only take consideration of the night of the death of Minato for this video. So basically, for Axe, Minato has a lot to give, even if he don't have Kurama mode there. The first Axe he got is the Sage mode, and then the second axe he got would be is Rasengan, which is a jutsu he created, and that's a really strong jutsu. Like a kid Naruto that just mastered it was able to take down a Jonin Kakashi level like person in Kabuto, so that tells a lot. And that same jutsu makes Boruto relevant on fighting. So yeah, Rasengan is no joke. And about what Jiraiya said, it's probably stronger than the Chidori if we speak about raw power. Now the third act Minato has is the Soul Reaper Dead Seal, just like Hiruzen. Then we got also like the candy of the axe being the Flying Raging Thunder God. It's probably the strongest jutsu Minato has, and he can spam it because he has crazy chakra. I will speak about it later on, but Minato can spam to what Tobirama used, but better. He improved the Flying Raging Thunder God, and that's a great hack. And about Sage mode, I did not spoke a lot about it, but let's say it that way. He has a power buff, so he will be more fast, he will be stronger, he will be more. He will be able to handle more damage before collapsing. So it's a stat boost basically. So mixed up with his Flying Raging Thunder God and his Rasengan, that makes him crazy strong. So now going to the other information we got about Minato, was known as the Yellow Flash because of the Flying Raging Thunder God, and he was able to make the Rock Village give up on the Third Great Ninja War by killing 1,000 shinobi in 1 second. So basically what Minato did, he sent shadow clones, and those shadow clones threw a lot of Flying Raging Thunder God kunais on the battlefield, like right now, and he was able to teleport all over the battlefield, and he crushed those 1,000 ninja. And we need to mention there was a run on site order to most of the other village. When you were seeing Minato, basically you were ordered to run away because you are no match if you are not Kage level. Because even if in the third war Minato was a Jonin, he was considered as like Kage level fighter because of what he did. And yeah, Minato also has great knowledge on sealing jutsu, due to Kushina showing him a lot of stuff, and him being interested about being Hokage and learning everything he could to being a fitting Hokage, you know. So we will also go over another hack he has is summoning. He can summon Gamabunta, which is a great feat because you need a lot of chakra to be able to summon Gamabunta. And not just that, Minato, despite dying at 24 years old, he still had 3 chakra nature, which is very interesting and strong for someone who did not live up to his prime, because to be a Jonin you need only 2. So basically he surpassed Jonin level at an early age, if we can put it that way. And his 3 chakra nature were the fire release, the lightning release, and the wind release. And yeah, that's a lot of release that can be mixed up like fire and wind. However, that does not go well with Minato fighting style, which is being very fast. Anyway, now let's speak about Chakra. When you wonder how much Chakra Minato has, you need to see the night where he died. He spent so much Chakra during that night, it's crazy. Like, he spammed Flying Raging Thunder God, and it's taking 3 special Jonin to perform it. 3 or 4 special Jonin, I forgot. I think it was 3. As shown by Genna speaking to Mei when they teleported Mei in the battlefield to face off Madara. I think it was 3 special Jonin there. It took 3 of them to perform 1 teleportation. But Minato spammed it like it was breathing. Minato was breathing teleportation. It's straight up what it was doing. And he summoned Gamabunta while he spammed this jutsu and he got tired. And basically that thing is crazy itself because Gamabunta requires a lot of chakra. We will take, for example, Naruto as a kid. The first time he summoned Gamabunta, he needed to tap into his Kurama chakra because his own chakra was not enough. And also Minato, basically for chakra, he had a crazy fight against Obito during that night. He spammed his Flying Raging Thunder God to remove a Biju Bomb through by the Ninetale. And then he had enough chakra while being pierced by the claws of the Ninetale. He was able to seal the Ninetale inside of himself and inside of his newborn baby. So everything happened there that way, like he used so much chakra. If Obito was not training the village with Kurama, Minato wouldn't have been able to take on Obito. That's just I'm saying. And just a quick reminder, that's teenager Obito, like 14 years old. And adult Obito is much stronger, and it took Naruto KCM1, I think, along with Guy, Killer Bee, and Kakashi just to deal with him during the war. And Kid Obito was surely weaker than this version, but he was no joke. He was able to control the Ninetale, and by that time he was training with Madara, I think, or was White Zetsu and Black Zetsu, I forgot. Anyway, that teenager Obito was not the usual ninja you fight, you know. He has crazy axe ability. Now we need to speak about his speed. As said earlier, with his Flying Raging Thunder God, he has crazy speed. Like, Raikage is very fast. Raikage A, the 4th one, is crazy fast. But when Minato was alive, he was able to take on Killer Bee A, like, without a sweat. He was too fast. He could have killed Killer Bee while he was fighting both of them. And Killer Bee is relative to Raikage since they can basically do a double Raira together. So that's crazy. And add on is Sage Mode. That's also crazy. Now let's speak about his raw power. He was not able to break the Tao while he was a reanimated Edo Tensei ninja during the war. However, he still has a lot of raw power, mainly because of his Sage Mode and his Rasengan. together they can be threatening. If a regular Rasengan of baby Naruto was able to take down a Jonin, I cannot imagine a Sage Mode Rasengan from Minato. Like, a Sage Mode Rasengan from Minato kills you. Even if you're like Tsunade, oh no, I exaggerate there, Tsunade is crazy ill, but like any regular ninja would die on sight with Minato Rasengan powered up by Sage Mode, let's say it that way. Now, I think we got over all four, being Axe, Speed, and Chakra, and Raw Power. So let's go over to how I think the fight would go on. Oh, and I forgot, Minato was crazy intelligent. He took on the Chunin exam without cheating, and he had the best score, and then Itachi after him almost came close to him. But Minato, I still had the highest grade there, and that was the Chunin exam, so that means a lot, and he did not even cheat, he just knew stuff. And also, he was able to take on Obito without knowing who Obito was. And after seeing a few times the body flicker technique Obito had, Minato was able to know, yo, that guy, if he body flickers, he cannot strike me. So he needs to strike me, so then I can use that opening to strike him. And when he realized that, the first move Minato pulled was a Rasengan deep in the throat of Obito. Obito was like, yo, I retreat, I will get beaten. Anyway, with that being said, Minato is crazy smart. That won't affect to the match, but it was also known as a sensory ninja, I think. But anyway, now let's go to the fight. The way I think it would go, Minato would go Sage Mode, and Hiruzen, being smart and having a lot of techniques, would be enough for Hiruzen to just survive. And I'm gonna tell you why. Minato teleportation is no joke. Minato speed, like, don't expect Hiruzen to match Minato speed. I expect Hiruzen to defend himself, but I don't see him attacking Minato because he don't have the speed. And for most of the match, I am pretty sure Hiruzen will be on the defensive. And let's consider also the fact that Hiruzen was scared by the third coffin Orochimaru had, and it was not shown to us, but it left us thinking it was Minato, the third coffin, and Hiruzen was scared. Was like, yo, that coffin is not opening. So, with that being said, we can assume Minato, even as Edo Tensei weakened, could do a lot of damage to Hiruzen. So now we have a LT Hiruzen and a LT Minato, and Hiruzen, even in his prime, even if he's crazy strong and he knows all those jutsu, I don't see him being able to counterattack or to do any serious damage to Minato, because Minato has Sage Mode and Minato is too fast. It's just as simple as that. Hiruzen has many acts. That's why the fight would go down with high difficulty, with Minato winnings probably 9 times out of 10 in my opinion. The 10th time is I underestimate Hiruzen, and Hiruzen can actually counterattack Minato despite Minato's speed. But that's just a lot of if. So, with that being said, if Hiruzen was any fast, they would have mentioned him as being fast. But they did not told us this. They told us Minato is the fastest man alive while he was alive. And even when he died, like Raikage was the only one faster than him, and then Naruto, but he was on top for that. So I think that clears enough everything. Like what I know is Hiruzen is strong. It's crazy strong, but now he's against someone who took down thousands of shinobi in 1 second. Hiruzen did not do that. I don't say Hiruzen cannot do that. Maybe he can, but it was not shown, it was not told. So we cannot assume he can. We can only say maybe. But Minato was able to. And on the battlefield, it's tuning or higher. Usually they don't send Genin on the battlefield. Well, that's what I think. So, like, Minato was able to take down like thousands of ninja tuning or higher level on the battlefield. Like, he forced Onoki to give up. And we all know how stubborn Onoki is. It's not Hiruzen that forced him, it's Minato. So Minato just have more feats than Hiruzen. And I feel bad in that way because Hiruzen is great, he is very strong and underrated, but he is not Minato level. And in the early interview from Kishimoto, like that one got retconned by Shippuden when they decided to revive the Kage, but by that time he was saying basically that the fourth Hokage was stronger than the third was stronger than the second was stronger than the first. We had retcon for sure. However, if they thought about saying this and showing this, that means a lot. Minato was probably higher than Hiruzen. And I don't see during the war that being retcon. The only retcon there would be Hiruzen stronger than Hashirama. Or Minato stronger than Hashirama, which is not the case. Now, with that being said, what is your opinion? What is your thought about it? Like, comment, and subscribe. Do you agree with the result being Minato, like, he is a monster because of Sage Mode and fighting Raijin Thunder God? Like, give him this, like, along with Rasengan, it's like three things, and boom, he beats up any non-Senju or non-Tail Beast Kage. Like, that's Minato for you. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see each other in future video. Have a great day.